I got these animals on their ration. So their ration right now, what I got them started on is a 1 part grain. I feed them that, it's 2 parts grain. It's 50 pounds of grain. It's 2 parts grain. It's that bloat medication. I'm feeding them that bloat medication right now because I just suddenly changed their diet, right? And so right now they're being forced to eat something completely new, and they're having to get their entire diet on it. And so I don't want them to have digestion problems because I switched their food over too fast. And so I got them on on 2 parts bloat medication, which is also a 14% protein creep feed that also has vitamins in it. And so that's how I'm giving them their vitamins. And then I'm giving them 1 part corn stalks and 2 parts peanut hay. And so I'm feeding them 50 pounds of peanut hay, 25 pounds of corn stalks, and 50 pounds of grain. And I'm gonna feed that to and then later tonight I'm just gonna give them the peanut hay and the corn stalks. And so right now these animals are on a total mixed ration, and they are getting limit fed. I'm limit feeding them. And so the idea of limit feeding is that the animals well, I'm not really limit feeding them because I do have a corn stalk bales out here for them to eat as much as they want, so they can eat as much roughage material as they want, but I'm limiting the amount of protein and energy that they are consuming on a daily basis. Because the protein and energy, if the animals get too much protein or too much energy, it could cause very, very, very severe health problems when limit feeding. I have had an animal die from being fed a too high concentrate diet. So I have had an animal die in the past from being fed a diet that was just too good. They ate too much good food, and then it ended up killing them. And so I'm limit feeding the energy and protein portions of their diet, and I'm giving them a free choice roughage material, but I am also mixing roughage material into their feed, and so they're eating it either way. They are having to eat it. And if you look at these cattle, they just look warm, right? They just look warm. They're not shivering. They're not like covered in ice or anything. They look warm. I mean, they're not shivering or anything. They're just standing here, and they look happy as can be. And so I'm not too worried about my animals. I'm not too worried about them having too much of a miserable time in this weather. I mean, it's like 10 degrees out here or something. 10 degrees, and it's snowing, and so there's ice everywhere, and the water is frozen. So we're having to bring in water from the inside to give it to them. But these animals, they don't look miserable. They usually spend most of their time over there sleeping by the hay, and so they push themselves up next to the windbreak, and then they just sleep there. And they seem okay. Like they're not out here shivering. They're not out here freezing or nothing like that. And so yep, they look okay. They look good to go. Oh, the thing about, so I was saying that now is, yesterday I was saying that now is my chance. If I want to buy anything, now's my chance to do it, because I have so much money left over, and I'm not going to be running this farm at extreme capacities, because here's the thing, right? It's like if I run my farm in a way that makes me $6,000 a month, let's say I run my farm in a way that makes $6,000 a month, it's going to be very difficult. It's going to be very difficult. It would be about the peak of difficulty that I could possibly handle. And if I ran my farm in a way that makes $6 grand, it's going to take a lot of difficulty. But if I run my farm in a way that makes me $3 grand a month, it's not going to take much effort. It's not going to take much effort at all. And if I make $3 grand a month, that kind of money, $3,000 a month, will get me a $600,000 loan from the bank. And so I'm better off in the long term when I look at my business plan, and I consider things for what they are. It is in my best interest to just make $3,000 a month here, do it very easily, and then take that money to the bank, and then take a $600,000 loan on it, and then buy more land, and then run more cattle over there. That is the easiest way for me to make a large sum of money. And because here's the thing about money, I know I say this all the time, But money, the less money I have, the easier it is to make money, because I'm at less risk. Like, let's say I want to run a farm like this, and I want to run a farm like this that's going to make me $3,000 a month of net profit. Well, what's it going to cost me? Like $700 a month? You know, and the $700 a month that I need, it comes from the business itself. And so after everything, I still walk away with $3,000. And so the less money I have, the easier it is to make money. And the more money that I try to make, the more money that I look to make, the harder it becomes. And that's just, I know that a lot of people, you know, a lot of people nowadays, they think like a communist. You know, deep down, they think like a communist. They're, everybody should have the same thing. Nobody, that is not how the world works. Everybody does not get to have the same thing. Some people get more because they worked for more. And when it comes to a hard skill like farming or anything else that is a hard skill, that is an objectively hard skill, you get out what you put into it. You know, if you spend the next 15 years of your life, 24 hours a day, you dream about farming. And every moment that you're awake, you think about, man, I'm going to be a farmer. I'm going to be a farmer one day. I'm going to be a phenomenal farmer. In 15 years, you'll probably make it. You probably will. And there's not any shortcuts, okay? That's also, this idea of a shortcut is a communist mindset. It's like, oh, man, everybody should get to be rich. That's a shortcut mindset. And that's also the communist mindset. Because it's not something that's very realistic. Some people are poor because they act like poor people. And that needs to be understood. And some people are rich because they act like rich people. And so it just is what it, there is not any way to give everybody, like, there is no way to give everybody a Lamborghini. There is no way for everybody to get a Corvette or whatever, or a Ferrari. There is no way to give everybody super nice things. Even in a communist country where they say everybody's going to get everything and everybody's going to share everything, it does not work out like that at all. And so, you know, that's why I always say, you know, for someone like me, you know, if somebody wants a day of my time, if they want, you know, if they really want my help, right, they can pay me $5,000 a day. If not, I mean, just leave me alone, because, I mean, you can't give me enough money to make me care. Honestly, at the end of the day. You know, because at the end of the day, why would I leave my farm making the money that I do and having the goals that I have? Why would I leave my farm to go and be some Boy Scout, right? And at the end of the day, I make money because I feed people. Like, when I talk about me buying guns and stuff, and it's like, oh, man, well, why is he, oh, that's not fair, or he's not, you know, why does he get to buy guns? But let's actually consider what is fair, right? Let's let fair be fair. I got this money because I grew beef for the world. I produced 50,000 pounds of beef, and I was given a paycheck for that beef. If I produce 50,000 pounds of beef and I got a paycheck for that beef that I produced, it's my money. I can do whatever I want with it. At the end of the day, that is what is fair. And people go, oh my God, you know, because it doesn't take a rocket scientist to just look over here and go, this guy must be doing very well for himself. It doesn't take a rocket scientist, right? Oh man, this guy must be making a lot of money. It doesn't take a rocket scientist. I mean, the average person could just look over here and see what's going on, and they'll know immediately. It's like watching somebody who's very good at boxing. You don't need to be a good boxer to know that somebody is good at boxing. You just can tell by looking at them. And so if we let fair be fair, right? If I produce 50,000 pounds of beef and I get a paycheck for that 50,000 pounds of beef, I can do whatever I want with the money. If I want to go and buy myself an AR-15, I'll go and buy myself an AR-15. If I want to go and buy myself a new truck, I'll go and buy myself a new truck. That's the thing, is that's one thing, right? It's like the whole time, I never made money at all until my 14th year. I didn't make any money. Hardly any money at all until my 14th year. And it's like, why would I spent all this time and effort getting here, And at the very end, it's like, oh my God, why didn't he just give away all that he makes, right? Why doesn't he just give it all away? And it's like, what a pathetic, miserable way to think. Why would I give it all away? I've worked my whole life to be able to do this. Right? I mean, let's be honest with us. Let's let fair be fair. There was a guy back in the day whose name was Laszlo Pogar, and he ran an experiment called the Grandmaster Experiment. And his whole experiment was to see if you could make an average person a genius. Could you make an average person a genius? That was his whole life study. And so what he did was he took his 3 daughters, and he turned all 3 of his daughters into Grandmaster chess champions. Which was being a Grandmaster chess champion, it's like you have to be considered to be a very, very, very intelligent to be a Grandmaster chess champion, and he managed to turn all 3 of his daughters into a Grandmaster chess champion. And he did a whole study on this. And it's like, the average person does have the capacity to become a genius at something. Everybody is born with most people, granted that they are not severely mentally handicapped or something like that, they are born with the capacity to become a genius at anything, as long as there is an objective trait that they are looking at. So it's like, are we looking at chess? Are we looking at farming? I mean, what are we looking at? It has to be a hard skill. And the average person does have the capacity to become a genius at just about anything, as long as they are objective about it. So what are we looking to becoming a genius at? Farming, chess, something objective, right? Basketball, whatever it may be, the average person has the capacity to become a genius. And so everybody, most people, granted that they are not severely mentally handicapped, if they put in enough time and enough effort, they can get here as well. And at the end of the day, if I make money, I can buy whatever I want. It's my money. I earned it. Because let's let fair be fair, right? Let's say, let's say people go, oh man, he shouldn't be buying these guns, right? Well, then should I not be producing 50,000 pounds of beef? Should I not be producing 100,000 pounds of beef a year? Is that also something I should not be doing? Because I'm getting paid for this. And I'm taking the money and buying whatever I want. And so what's fair is actually what is fair. What people think does not matter. And if it's my right to buy guns, then I'm going to buy guns. I mean, it just is what it is. And if I want a $5,000 gun collection, I'll just have a $5,000 gun collection. That's between me and God, right? It's not for someone to show up at the very end and go, oh my God, he making too much money. He doing too good for himself. Oh man, that makes me unhappy. We should take all of his stuff away. That's not what's fair. I worked my whole life to get this, to be able to do this. I worked my whole life. And so it just is what it is. That's it for me today, YouTube. Y'all have a good one.